Coming up on the Making Waves VO podcast.
And what we talked about in creating the website was, the question was, who do you serve and how do you want to speak to them? So it was never meant to be about me and what I've done. It really is meant to be this human handshake of, I would like us to work together.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves. Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
This is the Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell.
It is indeed the Making Waves VO podcast presented by Full Compass, fullcompass.com.
We know VO.
Bobby, how are you?
I'm doing great. Doing great.
Yeah, you had a solid week this week?
I did. And it was a short week for me, so I was very excited about that. And actually, as soon as we're done, I have to get right back at it.
Oh, yeah. So you crammed like 5 days of work into 4 days, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. I love hearing
How
that.
about you? You been good?
Yeah, busy week and busy in a different way, than I expected. What we do, we've got to make sure that we've got our irons in many fires, right? It might be a, corporate narration fire. It might be an automotive fire. It might be an e-learning fire. It might be a commercial fire. We need to be diverse in what we do. Because you never know what's going to happen. So, yeah, I've had some surprising things come in and projects happen that I'm like, oh, well, thank you very much, universe. And, yeah.
And you have a couple new demos you got this week.
Yeah. Very excited about some demos to come out and help, hopefully secure more work down the road because we can't stop, right? We just, you never know what's going to happen. You never know when we're going to have a COVID. You never know when we're going to have a major recession, So, yeah, I found out a long time ago, just be as diverse as you can in this business and how you make your money. And speaking of making money, my goodness, we have an amazing guest joining us on the Making Waves VO podcast. She is such a talented voice actor. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Danielle Famble to the podcast.
Yay.
Hey, Danielle.
Hey, Kevin. Hey, Bobby.
Hey
Thanks for having me on.
It's good to hear you. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing awesome. I just came back from a workout. I'm trying to not only grow my life and my business, but also make sure that I'm taking care of my health outside of the booth. So, yeah, I'm feeling really good right now.
Because your body was growing? You didn't
well, growing, shrinking, whatever.
Oh, that's so funny. Now, Danielle, you and I were at a conference together.
We were.
And it was a JMC Euro retreat.
Yes.
And I just remember, I was like, man, she's so good. She's just so natural. And, me coming from an 18-year radio career and doing car spots that are super animated all the time and, heavy on the announcer vibe, I envy your skill set. Let's talk about your origin story, if you don't mind. Not everybody knows you, but you are well known in the industry for being a hustling, working pro, doing a lot of work. But how did you get into this crazy world of voiceover?
Yeah, I actually came into the world of voiceover from a previous career in musical theater. I went to college for classical music. I studied classical music in my undergrad, and I knew, though, growing up that I wanted to be an actor. For me, I knew that I wanted to be on Broadway. It was Broadway or bust. I'm a middle child, so I like attention, and for me, that attention came from being on stage. So I grew up singing in choirs, singing in school choirs, singing at church, and I loved musicals. I remember growing up, we watched movie musicals. Like every Friday night, we'd go to the library, my family and I, we'd pick out a movie that we wanted to watch. And I would always choose like The Sound of Music or Seven Brides for Seven Brothers or just some sort of like classical golden age of Broadway movie musical. And I knew that I wanted to be on stage, and that was solidified for me in high school when our high school choir went to New York City. I'm from Texas originally. And our high school choir went to New York City. And I remember just being in the city and thinking, this is it. This is where I want to live. This is what I want to do. I don't even need to go back home. I know I'm a junior in high school, but they don't need me. I can figure it out. This is where I want to be. And my parents were like, that's great. We'll see you next week when you get home. And also you're going to go to college. And so I studied music and minored in theater. And as soon as I graduated, I knew that was all just to team me up to move to New York. So I moved to New York right away, right after I graduated from college, to wait tables and take acting classes and try my hand at being on stage, because for me it was Broadway or bust. And I did a lot of regional theater. I was a performer on cruise ships for a couple of years, singing all over the world. And then a little thing called COVID happened. Do you remember that? And we were all at home. And I knew that I wanted to use my voice, but I didn't want to be away from my home and be away on stage. I wanted to still act, but how could I be an actor and be, sleep in my own bed? And so I started taking classes right before COVID. I started taking voiceover classes and loved it. And then once COVID hit, I had everything that I needed to audition from home for voiceover, but I hadn't really had the time to really, truly devote my energy toward being a voice actor. I had this acting background, and I had the stuff. I had, my closet booth, and I had a USB microphone, and I had all the things, but really I hadn't had the time to really, truly devote to auditioning and even booking work. And because we were all sheltered in place at home, I was at home and had the ability to really put my acting skills and my know-how and my tech knowledge even toward voiceover. And also that was, Black Lives Matter was really big at that time. And there was it was the opportunity, the preparation really met each other. And I was able to thankfully book a lot of work that year, and I went full-time the year after that, and I've been a full-time voiceover pretty much ever since.
So all your ducks were in a row. That's awesome. Are you the type of person that if you have a plan, you're absolutely going to stick to it? It comes to fruition about everything in your life? Because it sounds like that with your plan for VO.
I'm pretty, I will say, guilty as charged. I'm pretty type A. How did you know? But I when I get an idea in my head, I pretty much will stick with it until it gets to where I want to be. I said that I wanted to be a working actor, and I didn't realize and I didn't know exactly how that would happen. I was certain that it would be musical theater. I was certain it would be Broadway, but I am now the working actor that I moved to New York City years and years and years ago to be. It's just not in the same way. So I think what I've learned is have the plan, but be open to the fact that plan might change.
Pivot! Pivot!
Well, we've heard that, Kevin did theater too, that projection because of the stage can go against you in voiceover, and it's kind of the same way with radio too. What are some of the positive ways that having that theater background, that musical background, have helped you?
Oh, I believe that spoken word is musical. It's really truly helped. My musical background has helped me when taking direction in sessions, understanding dramatic phrasing, pauses, understanding the rhythm of the spoken word. Whenever we get some auditions or we are in a session, and being able to hear the music that our voiceover is going to be matched with is so helpful to me as a musician. For me, it's just an extension of singing, but it's just spoken word.
I've heard so many people that, so many people can transition from music into this world for many of the reasons that you just mentioned. And I want to go back to, Danielle, something you mentioned a few minutes ago when you said Broadway or bust. Can you break it down for me and for everybody listening? I'm pretty sure I know where Broadway is in the hierarchy of some of the things you mentioned in musical theater. But you mentioned cruise ships, you mentioned regional theater, and of course there's going to be local theater, and then there's Broadway or bust. Can you break down that hierarchy? Broadway's at the top, I'm sure?
Broadway is at the tippy top. Broadway is, you think about athletes and an Olympic athlete. A Broadway star is an Olympic athlete for what you can do in terms of being in musical theater, in my opinion. Broadway is
it's the top.
The top.
Now, where do what about cruise ships, regional theater? Where do those kind of fall in?
It really depends on who you are and your goals. I love to travel. So to me, cruise ships were pretty high up there because it married the things that I enjoy. It married traveling, it married performing, it married just meeting people from around the world. I was working on a German cruise ship company. So we would rehearse in Germany for 2 months, and then we would be on a German cruise ship with people who are from Germany, speaking German, and having their vacation with their culture in mind. So that to me was fascinating. I got to teach people about Thanksgiving, and I hosted Thanksgiving for a couple hundred people who had never even seen or experienced it, which was so much fun. So for me, cruise ships were a huge goal because I wanted to experience traveling and being paid to travel. And then regional theater also similarly, I like, living in different places and seeing different things. And so for me, working regional theater was also pretty high up there because I got to get paid to do what I love to do.
In the Making Waves VO podcast, we'll be right back.
This is the Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell. I, on the other hand, am Eric Romanowski of Ear Blowing Audio, and I don't know the first thing about podcasts other than that you should keep listening to this one.
As a voice actor, you want to focus on what's important, right? Like pulling off the perfect read. You don't want to stress about tech stuff. That's why Full Compass is in your corner. With 50 years experience in pro audio, Full Compass has everything we voice actors need. Mics, headphones, monitors, mixers, interfaces, DAWs, all the goodies. And their certified product experts help with everything they sell. Plus, you can get free same-day shipping, flexible financing, and a low price guarantee. See it all at fullcompass.com. Fullcompass.com. They know VO.
And now back to Making Waves. I know you're on some pay-to-plays, and I know that you have a New York agent and a talent manager. Do you ever get any pushback about pay-to-plays from the other two? I've always wanted to ask, talent who've kind of hit a certain level if their managers or their agents think negatively about pay-to-play.
I have not had that experience that there's been a negative connotation with pay-to-plays. I think that at this point, people get it. The way that casting for voiceover has evolved, even in the last 5 years that I've been in it professionally. Before that, I was mostly really studying and taking classes in person in New York City. Casting is different now. I mean, if there is a young person who is maybe a production assistant or something like that, if they're looking for a voice actor, they might go to TikTok, they might go to Instagram, they might go to pay-to-plays. And as the industry is shifting, as people are finding voice talent in a myriad of ways, I think people understand that you're just going to find people however you find people. And so you have to, Kevin, you were saying you have to have your eggs in multiple different baskets. And that is, I think people understand that. And what I want to see is my agents staying in their lane of finding the top tier Class A SAG jobs, and maybe I'm looking for or being found for other types of jobs on pay-to-plays or through my website or in-person marketing, direct marketing, however people can find me.
You've been doing really well over these last several years. Congratulations, by the way, on that. And we're all so happy for you. And this is an amazing community, I feel, that we all support each other for the most part. There's some dicks. There's some jerks.
Sure.
But for the most part.
How do you really feel?
Yeah. For the most part, we're all really cool with each other. So I celebrate you, Danielle. So I'm so happy. But now let's try to get a little nugget of wisdom out of Danielle. Do you find that you connect with certain types of commercial reads or certain aspects of commercial deliveries, whether it be a financial institution, whether it be health related, anything that you go, you know what? I'm a really good fit for this. I connect with this. And then after that, would you tell us the inside part of how you do connect with those and how you are effectively nailing those auditions to get the gigs?
Wow.
I know,
Okay.
that's a lot of questions.
Oh my goodness.
Well, yeah. What do you connect with? What are you booking? And then what's the connection between those?
So I am mostly booking commercial work. I'm mostly doing commercial and like corporate narration. I would say that my voice, and I connect with that, say it like you're talking to a friend, read. Like I try to be as honest and human as I possibly can. And I think that the feedback I've gotten is, yeah, I believe her. I believe what she's saying. And I think that's really, we're not
That's
selling.
all it boils down to, right?
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
why
like,
I'm
do you believe that person? Are you? And it's not pushing it, it's not selling, but it's just honest communication at this point. I think is really what's cutting through. So for me, when I'm reading an audition or in a session, it really is like, do I believe me? Do I believe what I'm saying? Am I the friend that you could be talking to, or do I have a friend or a person specific in mind? And it goes back to my musical theater roots of like being truthful and saying the text truthfully in the moment. I don't know. That's just kind of how it works for me. And also, honestly, music really does help me. The musical background really does help me connect. And I can't remember what your other question was.
No. That was it. You basically did it. You talk like you're talking to a friend and just make them believe you. And I didn't know if there was like any kind of industries that you connected with, like, hey, I book a lot of hospital work, or hey, I book a lot of financial stuff, anything like that. But no, it comes from, it sounds like, Danielle, an organic place of truth. And wherever that goes is where it goes. So yeah, you answered what I was asking. So thank you.
Well, it's interesting because this is a great lead into what I was going to ask Danielle next. I think there are several different types of voiceover talent. I think there are people who are very self-absorbed with themselves and their voice. And there are people
Thanks for noticing, Bobby.
Not to mention any names.
Yeah. And there are people who are their focus is on the client. And the reason I bring this up is I went on your website and it's not formulaic at all. It's not the I did this, I did that. So many times in your content on your site, you're focusing totally on the client. It's like, I'd love to do this for you. Well, not I. It's, I want to do this for you. I want to be your voice. This is how I do things. And I was curious, do you get, because of that, with SEO and everything, do you get a lot of direct website hires? Because it is so honest and giving.
Well, first of all, thank you so very much for taking a look at the website. That website was a labor of love, and I worked with the fine folks at Artillery Media who are just amazing at what they do. And what we talked about in creating the website was, the question was, who do you serve and how do you want to speak to them? So it was never meant to be about me and what I've done. It really is meant to be this human handshake of, I would like us to work together. Yeah. I love commercial voiceover, specifically, one, because it's, short copy. Like, give me a 15 and a 6 any day of the week.
Yeah.
I love it. But also, I like being directed. You know, that comes back also from my theater days. I like being directed in the moment, and there's the collaboration and the feedback instantaneously of, okay, I like the way you said that here. Can we try this? Or it's working together, and the instant direction that I love so much. And I want to be a partner. And I want people to know that when we are working together, we're working together as a team, as a partnership. And I think that rings through. And I do get people who come from my website or from pay-to-plays. I try to also add that kind of copy into pay-to-plays. I think right now, especially, SEO is a really big deal. And if voice actors are not putting their focus into SEO, I would ask them and I would nudge them, please look into how you can make SEO work for you, because people are going to Google, and now actually they're going to ChatGPT, and they're looking for the partnerships. So SEO and, you know, making sure that you are being seen as many places as possible is really important right now from a business perspective.
Oh, yeah.
Danielle, do you have any mistakes that you've made that stick with you, but you learned something from?
Yeah.
What's the biggest one you can think of?
The biggest one was in the very, very beginning of doing, you know, really being serious about voiceover and really actually being an actor. I did not understand the business side of this, especially when we are doing it all, essentially. We are our marketing team. We are our accounting team. We are making sure that we're getting paid on time. We're following up on invoices, all of those things. You're paying your taxes. And so I wasn't properly allocating the money to the side that I needed to. And at the end of the year, or April 15th, it was surprising. So, which is a good thing, you know, because that means
like,
you made
I made
money.
this much, and I gotta pay
but like,
this much.
you want what? How? And one of the things that I talk about a lot, you know, for the people who maybe hear me on like podcasts and stuff, I love to talk about money. I do not shy away about talking about money, because if we are talking about business, we are talking about money.
Yep.
And I made some financial mistakes by not being proactive about putting money to the side, making sure that I was aware of how much I needed to be paid and what invoices were running behind, and just having the business establishment of how to do this thing, because it's not just talking into a microphone. Yeah. That's the fun part about it, but there is a business structure that needs to be set up. So that was my big wake up call was, oh wow, I owe all this money, and I wasn't necessarily mentally prepared for it. I did have the money, but it wasn't allocated. So I would say it's not just about talking into the mic and having your demos and getting an agent who will do it all for you. That's what people like to think, but you are managing the entire process as a business owner. And that is, I think, why I've been so successful, not just by way of being a successful voice actor in terms of like bookings and things like that, but creating business structures that help me take the bookings and turn them into a beautiful life. And I cannot overstate that enough. Like, please understand that this is a business and run it accordingly.
Thank you for that PSA, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Can you imagine the new people coming into the industry, especially younger ones who might still live in mom and dad's basement, and they've got the microphone and they record, and then they realize, oh, shoot, I have to pay taxes? Oh,
Yeah.
shoot, I've got to keep track of all this. I mean, You
Totally.
hit the nail on the head. It's like, it's an awakening, and a lot of people don't even think about that end of it, and it's eventually going to come to get you.
But also it can come to get you, but also it can be the gateway to changing your entire life. I mean, I understand. I can go back and look at the NAVA survey, right, of like how the state of voiceover survey that they do every year, and the numbers are quite staggering. It's not that people, are making a ton of money. Some people are making a ton of money, and some people are making a really great life, like annual salary from voiceover. But it's not just what you make, but it's what you keep and how you invest in yourself, in your business, financially. There's so many other things that you can, how you can build on what you learn by creating a business here. And then that can help you create and build other businesses. Maybe you're really good at being a handyman or something like that. And you can learn the systems of how to structure a business and use that in other aspects of your life too. So it's not just about talking into a microphone. It's not just about the bookings. Like, this is a business. And then what you can learn about running a business can help you in other facets of your life too.
I'm telling you, Kevin's flower arranging abilities now are amazing.
I mean,
I spent a lot of time on that.
I'm sure that you have. I would like to learn more and maybe hire you for a bouquet.
Yeah, ChatGPT is amazing at telling me how to arrange flowers and stuff like that. It's going to be a third career.
Great. Pivot. Hello.
Yeah.
This is the Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell. I'm George Washington III, voice actor, and I know they appreciate you listening.
Okay, so let's talk about, you mentioned Black Lives Matter, and that whole movement that happened. My goodness, so necessary and horrific how it happened or how it came about. However, wow, did it wake up some people. And in the voiceover world, it woke up a lot of people. How is that going, I guess? Do you still feel like that brands are offering opportunities to everybody that they need to offer opportunities to?
I think if that feels, first of all, that feels like it was so long ago.
Does
just
it?
Given
Is that good or bad?
I don't think that it's either one. It just does feel like it was so long ago because so much has happened since then. I'm not going to sit here and say that we are where we need to be and, thank goodness. No, there is absolutely more work to be done in terms of making sure that that as many voices, as many perspectives have a seat at the table. So I am not going to, I'm not going to sit here and say like, yep, the work is done. It's not. I think that the awakening is an important thing. I hate that it happened how it happened. And frankly speaking, it almost feels like we have collectively really short memories for things. I'm not specifically talking just Black Lives Matter, but I think that reminding ourselves of history in this country is incredibly important, especially now, but also in how you relate to people, and knowing that that systems and structures have existed for the betterment of some people or to keep certain people out. And I think it's really important to just be honest about it. So I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, we've gotten somewhere. It was a step, and a step is a step. That's it.
I'm going to carry that on because, and talk about a specific genre that you're doing that probably you would not have been doing 10, 15 years ago in political VO. And I think I met you at a Reed conference.
Yeah.
And you've won a Reed Award.
Yes.
And I just, congratulations, by the way, because like I said, if we'd go back 20 years, there weren't that many women, period, doing political voiceover. And now there are those opportunities are out there. And I'm just kind of curious with the division in our country right now. Is that affecting you personally as a political voiceover talent to have to do these spots, or do you just kind of put it aside?
It's affecting me personally as a person. I can't take myself and my feelings out of what it is that I do. I mean, going back to what I was saying about commercial voiceover, I feel like it's why I am able to connect with copy. I've said before, I try not to, with political, if I would support it with my voice, if I would support it with my vote, I could support it with my voice. And for me, I try to keep that line, that delineation of, do I really truly believe in this? Mm-hmm. Because for political, I think that really rings true. The division is happening. I don't really know how else to say it. I mean, I'm not sure where we go from here. I know that it affects me personally, in and out of the booth. And I don't know that staying in our separate silos is helping the situation. That being said, I believe in what I believe in, and I voice as best as I can for the things that I believe in. But yeah, it affects me. It affects it. It can't. I don't think that it, at this point, with how divisive it is, I don't know how it doesn't affect people.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't know how that could be personally. You know, when you turn on the news or even just hear people's personal lived experiences, how does that not affect you?
Hang around. We'll be back shortly.
Hey there, this is George the Tech, and you're listening to the Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell.
Oh, Bobby, I remember getting into voiceover, and one of the most exciting parts about getting into voiceover is buying all the gear. You don't realize that until you become a voice actor and you got to produce your own stuff. And you go, ooh, this part should be fun. But then you go, I have not a clue on what I'm supposed to buy.
Exactly.
That's why you trust your good friends at Full Compass, fullcompass.com. They know VO there, and you're going to have a great selection of pro audio gear, and you're going to get a lot of good help. And there's a lot of good attributes that go along with buying from Full Compass.
Yeah, so if you're not really sure when you got the piece of equipment and you have questions about it, they have a free 2-year service or repair plan. They have free shipping on orders over $49. I love that. I think my favorite thing is the low price guarantee, because you just never know. You said a second ago that you're getting into this and you don't know what you need, but how about, do you know if you're paying the right price for it? So you don't have to worry about that when you shop at fullcompass.com. They'll guarantee to match the price on the products they sell for new, identical, and immediately available products offered at a lower price.
They have flexible financing, Bobby, and they also have free expert assistance, and that's why we say we know VO at Full Compass.
Everything from microphones to interfaces to headphones to mic booms, they've got it.
If you have any questions and you're more old school and you want to call them on the phone, you can call Full Compass at 800-356-5844. Full Compass and fullcompass.com.
We know VO.
And now, back to Making Waves. We're chatting with Danielle Famble. And Danielle, if you don't mind, we're going to get a nightmare session story from you coming up in just a couple of minutes. But I did want to find out, you mentioned commercial work, corporate work, some political work, obviously. What's next? Are there any genres that you really haven't played in a whole bunch that you would like to?
Oh, yeah. So Bobby and I were, just 2 weeks ago, we were in the Italian, not even countryside. We were in Italy together at another JMC retreat. And that was, to me, I felt like it was really geared toward promo and, for me, promo and video games. And that was the reason that I signed up to go to, well, it was the second reason why I signed up to go to that VO retreat. The first reason was it was in Italy. So let's just be honest. I mean, it could have been talking about anything. I'd have been like, oh, it's Italy? Great, I'll be there.
Right.
So yeah, but promo is definitely the next frontier for me. The reason is because I feel like it is just, VO is a small group, right? When I was trying to get into voiceover, I just remember thinking, gosh, that's a hard nut to crack. Like, how do you get into voiceover? It feels, especially like in New York City, it just felt like such an exclusive club, and I was really just trying to get in. And now that I'm in, to me, promo feels like an even smaller, even more exclusive, elusive club. And I'd really like to get into that very much. And the other one, I've been saying this for a while, and I guess me putting it out there on this podcast is me like putting myself on blast. But any sort of character work, video games, animation, oddly, it scares me.
I thought you were going to say erotica.
No, I will not say that. My mother would blush.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
But no, well, now that you mention it, Bobby, I didn't want to say. That'll be the third frontier. But no, I any sort of character work, any sort of like video games or animation is definitely something. I want to get over my fear of it. And it's weird coming from a theater background that it scares me, but that's my truth.
What did you do for your competition?
I did. What did I do? Oh, I did a promo read, but that was also, so I had planned on doing something from video games, but I didn't have a script that we had done. And so it was a last minute Hail Mary, like 2 minutes before I walked into the room.
Oh, wow.
I changed my direction and just did some promo copy. And I don't even feel like I did a great job with it, but I just did it to do it. So,
well, like you said, there were a lot of promo people,
yes.
presenters
there were. There. Totally. There were a lot of
Who won that
presenters
this year? Or James?
Nadia Marshall.
Nadia Marshall.
Oh, nice.
The great Nadia Marshall, opera singer extraordinaire.
That's amazing.
Wonderful.
Well, Bobby, if you don't have anything else, we might get to the nightmare session story. Bobby, do you have anything else?
No, let's do it.
Okay. All right. So this is what happens. We've all had these horrible things that have happened to us in recording sessions, Danielle. Maybe not you, but maybe you have had something that was your own personal nightmare. Would you please share with us a nightmare session story?
Nightmare Sessions!
So, I don't know about y'all, but I deal with anxiety issues and mental health, and it actually has only gotten more pronounced as I've gotten, I guess, older and more, I think just being in a little padded room all day has exacerbated the issue.
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, I was in a session. It was a Zoom session with a new client, and I think they found me on like Voice 123 or something. Like we had not worked together in the past. And, in the very beginning of the session, they're so complimentary. Oh, we found you this way, and we really liked the way we liked this thing on your demo, this spot, and you sounded really honest, and we like the way that you did this and this, and we were looking at your website, and they were just so complimentary, really, in the very beginning, like sort of hyping you up a little bit. And so I'm like, okay, great, like we're aligned. They know what I do. They like my voice, and they think that it's going to work really well for this thing. It was for a hotel chain, and so it was time to like start the read. And in a Zoom session, you are doing it all. You are your engineer. You're getting the feedback. You're making sure everything is good. You're doing the most. And I don't know what it was, but I had a panic attack at the very second that I hit record to start my first take. And I could not control my heart racing. Like my heart, it felt like I had just run a marathon and then sat down in the booth to like get started on this session. And I was so embarrassed because they just talked about how great I was and how, how perfect I am for this thing and how they found me and all this stuff. And I just couldn't control myself. I could not control the anxiety. And then I'm saying to myself in the moment, like, get it together, girl, calm down, like, stop it. And I couldn't. I mean, in doing that, it's actually making it worse. So I, went through take one and they were like, okay, like, let's try again, blah, blah, blah. And I did another take and then it's actually worse because I know how badly it's going and I'm running the backup and I'm thinking to myself, goodness gracious, like, I don't know how to get out of this. How do I make it stop? How do I calm myself down? How do I feel like a professional in this moment? And I felt too embarrassed to even stop and ask for a break because we had literally just started the session, like it was maybe 10 minutes in. So I just needed to take a beat and remind myself that in the moment, I am enough, that is enough. Me saying the text and giving life to the words in the moment was enough. And after 3 or 4 takes of doing a full read, I was able to just say the words that were on the screen at the moment and just be in the moment. That actually is what calmed me down. And the session went beautifully. They got exactly what they needed. And they came back a year later to do a renew and do some more work. So I didn't turn them away. It actually turned out to be great. But in the moment, I was so embarrassed that I could not deal with my own anxiety and my own mental health issues that it really made me want to like walk away and just say, I'm sorry, I just can't do it. But I did get through it.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Because I think a lot of voiceover talent do deal with that, and it's probably more for us than it is the clients.
Yeah.
They may not notice. Kevin, do you remember when we presented automotive at VO Atlanta and I had my panic attack?
Yeah, I do.
Panic attacks are horrible. You really, truly feel like you're dying.
Yeah,
it's the worst.
And it's so funny. And Danielle, I'll kind of, dovetail on what Bobby's talking about really quick and wrap that up in a little bow. But yeah, we were presenting and we had a full room of folks. And it wasn't just the full room of folks. It was who the folks were. We were seeing people that we pretty much idolize and worship come in there to watch us speak about that. Yeah. And Bobby was like, you see all this? And I see her like getting her head. And I'm like, come back, Bobby, come back. It's okay. And I just kind of took over for a second talking and stuff. And then she got back in her rhythm. And it may have been similar to what you were talking about, just focus on the work, focus on why I'm here. And then it's a perfect opportunity now, Danielle, to go. You said just reading the script a few times, and then in your head you're going, I am enough. What would you recommend for somebody else that may be having a panic attack like you were in a session?
I would first of all recognize that that's what's happening. It was not my first panic attack. It was my first panic attack in a session, but it wasn't my first panic attack, period. So recognizing that it is what is happening and that you're not actually dying, even though it feels like you are. That's actually really important. The first panic attack I ever had, I was pretty sure I was dying. I went to the hospital.
Oh, wow.
So recognize that's what's happening. And then what I've found that can be very helpful is getting in your body. So be that like making sure that you're touching yourself, like touch your wrist or touch like your neck or your head, or touch, if you're sitting down, touch like hands to your thighs. Something to ground yourself in your body is incredibly helpful. And then low and slow, deep diaphragmatic breathing. Like that's really important. Is when you're having a panic attack, you're probably having like shallow breaths. So really, truly like filling your belly with air and then slowly contracting. Getting back into your body takes you out of your head, because a panic attack is really, it's such a mental exercise that then tells your body that something is wrong and it's the fight or flight. But if you can do something to get back into your body to remind yourself that you are safe, that's super helpful. And then telling yourself, calm down, does not work. Spoiler alert. So don't do that. It does not work. But just remind yourself, I'm safe, I'm enough, and honor the fact that you're having a panic attack. Or at least in my case, I was having a panic attack because I cared. I really wanted to do a good job. I really wanted to be what they said I was.
That's great. And just so you know, it's not an uncommon thing. Probably within the last 2 years, I had a fellow voice actor reach out to me. And I don't think we've ever met in person. I don't think we've ever had a conversation really, but we knew each other socially, like on Facebook and that kind of stuff, and from the VO community. And she had listened to Bobby and I do a podcast one time about sessions and what do we do when we're preparing for those, and we're worried we're going to get anxious and those things. And she requested a meeting with me. And I was like, yeah, let's go. So we set up a Zoom call, and it was just all to talk about getting her ready for that session. And it was the things that, Danielle, you mentioned, first know that you're there because they want you. They want you. They are excited to have you in that room with them. They're so excited to have you that they're going to pay you money to be there. And so these are the kinds of things that I was talking with this person about. And, it kind of helped her get ready. But it happens to us. It happens all the time with us. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. And I think that, it's mental health is something that has been a taboo topic for a long time. And I think that we are just now, I'm hearing more people talking about their issues and, what they've been working on or dealing with their own mental health journeys. And I really do think that part of it has been exacerbated by me being alone so much. And, by that I mean, like, I sit in a padded room for hours on end, and I don't really talk to anybody unless I'm doing something like this or I'm in a directed session. It's talking, but it's not necessarily talking to someone or having human interaction. So I would remind people, try to, especially if you live alone. I live alone too, so that also is part of it. I can go days without seeing people, and sometimes it's glorious. But it's about like reminding yourself that we are social people. We need that human element, that human interaction. It also is what helps you be a great actor, a great voice actor. But I think that for me, the mental health part of this is something that I think we could really talk about more. I think we could stand to talk about it more.
I agree, 100%. Yep.
This is Heather Bell, voice actor, and I can tell you you've made an awesome choice listening to the Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell. I know you're gonna enjoy it.
Well, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for chatting with us today. We're honored to have you on, and we wish you much continued success moving forward.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Bobby.
Thank you.
Danielle, if anybody wanted to reach out to you for voiceover work, how could they get you?
They could go to my website, daniellefamble.com, or they can shoot me an email, danielle@daniellefamble.com.
You going to be in Atlanta in the spring?
I don't know, actually. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe.
Right.
Maybe.
Well, maybe we'll see you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. A lot of great insights there.
Thank you so much, Bobby. Thanks, Kevin.
That was so enjoyable to get to know Danielle. Just hearing her story, it's full of inspiration and so many nuggets of wisdom from her as well, Bobby.
I think the fact that she is so honest with herself and her work, and you could hear it in this past hour, that's why she books.
Yeah,
You know?
she's got her head on right. And she talked about something, the business aspect, that you and I talk about a lot, and people don't comprehend if they're not in this world that, yeah, it is a business. You've got to tackle all these different things. And it's so sad because I will see people, and there's one guy I'm thinking of particularly that is in the Nashville area, and he is super talented. Super talented. He has a corporate job, but I've worked out with him and he's shown me what he's got, but he just doesn't have the business side. And he could be killing it, but just doesn't have the fortitude, the drive, the want to of managing the business side. And I'm like, well, in my head, I've never said this to that person, but I'm like, in my head, I'm going, that's what's going to hold you back. You could be doing so well, but if you don't have the drive to do this and know that there's going to be a business side, that's on you, because there are plenty of opportunities to learn.
Absolutely.
All right, you kids get off my lawn. Another enjoyable podcast, Bobby. Let's do it again sometime, huh?
I think we should.
The Making Waves VO podcast presented by Full Compass, fullcompass.com.
We know Theo.
The Making Waves VO podcast is produced by K2 Media Productions with hosts Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell. Sound design and editing by Jason Traver. Production assistance by Lacey Deline. Publicity and social media by Shannon Scott and Silas Phillips. Be sure to subscribe to the Making Waves VO podcast on your favorite platform. For all episodes, merchandise, gear, and more, visit makingwavesvo.com. Until next time, I'm AJ McKay. Keep making waves.